Hello and welcome to this Sunday show. I'm Louise and here's what happened this week. Taiwan has been called pedestrian hell and it's trying to shed this label, but its mission has run into some unexpected opposition. Sally Ensign reports.
An end to Taiwan's pedestrian hell has become a nightmare for taxi drivers. Pasting the character for anger on their hoods, taxi drivers in Kaohsiung City are protesting new road safety measures.
完全都没有号志灯，也没有说什么双黄线禁止穿越，结果他直接判我直接闯红灯的这个罚单。
车子已经到那边了，他人冲出来，我怎么刹车？刹车自己吗？我刹车，我人不就飞出去？你们这个交通法规根本就是乱搞。
The laws were passed in June this year in response to widespread complaints that Taiwan's unsafe streets had become hell for pedestrians. But these taxi drivers say the new rules are harming their livelihoods. Drivers are getting more fines, and they want the city's transport bureau to shorten the time for appeals.
很多人申诉都等3个月，以前是15天。
The National Taxi Drivers Association says it's taking the issue to higher authorities.
各政府局处的交通官员能够重视我们的诉求，并且将这个检举制度重新发回立法院做更审。
The Kaohsiung City government says it's already finding ways to resolve the problem.
路段中100到150公尺，要划设10%的临停黄线，或者是专用的临停停车格。 这部分我们已经在办理当中。
But finding a solution that balances the safety of pedestrians with the work conditions of taxi drivers could mean a long wait. Dolphine Chen and Sally Jensen for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese wallets may be feeling a little thinner this year. The latest official numbers show that real wages have dropped for the first time in 7 years. Joyce Sung takes a look at how this is affecting the country's young people.
For many, Taiwan may seem like an attractive place to live and work. With its tech-driven infrastructure, easy access to nature, and rich yet affordable food scene. But crunching the numbers, the reality may be quite different. The latest stats show people in Taiwan made an average of $1,880 a month this year. But adjusting for inflation, it's more like $1,700 a month, and one of the lowest wages among developed countries.
全球的一个经济趋缓的状态的影响，然后奖金发放的比较少，所以它在非经常性薪资的这个部分发放就会比较少。
Taiwan's low wages are a particularly heavy burden for young people here, many of whom have already given up on certain life goals, like moving to the city and buying a house.
我自己是偏向租就好了。
真的房子很贵，然后薪水很少，然后如果真的要买一个房子，我不知道要不吃不喝多久。
Taiwan's been trying to crack down on rampant property speculation by landlords, something that drives up prices, but it hasn't been very effective. Some apartments here in the country's capital cost just as much as those in New York City and London, so buying a place somewhere like this is unthinkable for many people. But even if you take Taipei out of the picture, Taiwan's housing is still among the most expensive in the world, and given the latest figures on what people make, owning a home at all is becoming an even more far-fetched dream. In the last 10 years, the number of people taking out mortgages continues to rise, with the average loan increasing from just under $110,000 to a whopping $161,000, a jump of almost 50%, and a huge amount compared to what people make. In that same period, average real wages in Taiwan have only gone up by 26%. It's a reminder for the country, which will need to rely more on its young citizens as the population rapidly ages, that it must do more to help its people feel like their life goals can be achieved. Alex Chen and Joyce Sen for TaiwanPlus.
Taipei this week hosted work by Hong Kong artists who've been feeling under pressure back home. The exhibition helped them find their voices again. For 36-year-old Hong Konger Alric Lee, this exhibition in a church in Taipei is a way to keep his city's spirit alive. Now based in Tokyo, Lee founded the advocacy group that's showing these artworks that convey Hong Kongers' feelings and their fears.
The Hong Kong government is essentially trying to remove the voice of Hong Kong people. And we want to encourage artists, writers, and independent creative professionals to keep voicing their support for Hong Kong.
The exhibition includes winners of the first Hong Kong Liberty Art Prize, set up by Lee's organisation to counter what it says are restrictions on artistic freedoms back home. The winner, a digital art piece that evokes violent memories of a mob attack on protesters and passengers on a Hong Kong subway train. Many artists fled Hong Kong after Beijing imposed a national security law that makes it easier to crack down on dissent. That same law has led to prosecutions of former opposition lawmakers and journalists, and publisher Jimmy Lai, who's accused of colluding with foreign forces and faces a life sentence if convicted. And he's a key part of this exhibition in Taipei. The young Hong Konger who sculpted this work doesn't want to appear on camera because she worries what could happen to her family back home if she's revealed as an artist activist. But she says that people see Jimmy Lai as a saint and she wants to remind them of his vulnerability. So with this work, they see his human side and remember his pain and suffering. The exhibition is moving visitors, both Hong Kongers and foreigners.
Hong Kongers, we know everything is gone, and I hope one day we can rebuild it. So we have to let people from the Western world know we are not defeated by the Communist Party. We are just preserving ourselves, our power.
Hong Kong is something that we've never really have a lot of media talking about in our country, and so deeply, so it's good to have the actual point of view of people that are living through this.
Taipei is just the first stop for these works. Organisers plan to exhibit in London and Sydney in 2024, hoping to further raise the voices of Hong Kongers and awareness of their ongoing suffering through their art. An award-winning virtual reality show came back to Taipei this week. Yu Jinghuang went to take a look.
Virtual reality, made with dancers' real movements. The show is called the Ballot, the Bali, the Bangkok, and won the Best VR Experience at the Venice Film Festival in 2021. Its creator, Spanish choreographer Blanca Lee, brought the experience to Taiwan earlier this year, but it was so popular that the country's creative content agency wanted it to stay, so an upgraded version of the show is now playing in Taipei. For this version, they tweaked the choreography, incorporating elements created by the top Taiwanese tech and design teams. It also takes place in an unconventional space, a science museum.
我们也会持续的跟很多的这个场域方，像科教馆、像平台方 HTC 这样的一个这样的一个场域的这个合作者能够让它落地。那也希望说帮助更多的这个内容制造业者能够看得到商机不是只有做艺术而已。
将手放下去，是的，稍微的往这边，好。
Up to 10 participants can experience the performance at once, guided by 2 professional dancers, all wearing VR sets. Seeing digital art as vital to the future of the industry, Taiwanese tech giant HTC founded Vive Arts in 2017, focused on offering tech support to experimental art. For this show, they use a type of tracking technology called location-based entertainment. It lets participants share the same real-time interactive experience in a virtual environment.
里面还会有丛林啊，然后有一些密道什么之类的，就是很神秘的感觉。对，这个比较大，很大的规模。
我们能做到这么大的场域，我们讲的场域不是你们现场看到的，更大的可以到，比如说500平方米、1000平方米这么大场域，同时连接，比如说100台、80台头盔。
欢迎大家，欢迎大家，来，这是我的花园，我是 Jenny， 也是这里的主人。
To help participants immerse themselves in the story, Interactive theatrical arrangements based on the virtual scenes are set up at the entrance. Made by a Taiwanese design team, they want to level up participants' sensory experiences.
对于惊喜制造来说，这一次是技术含量最高的，包含 VR， 包含网络串流，还有硬体设备等等，我觉得是非常大的挑战。
With the success of this international collaboration, the organizers hope this business model can bring more opportunities for Taiwan's tech and art scene. Klein Wang, Biqi Zhuang, and Yujin Huang for TaiwanPlus.
A town in Taiwan celebrated a 100-year-old Taoist festival. Tiffany Wong explains.
Sending up a signal for luck with the Chinese symbol for good fortune. These residents of Puli, a small town in central Taiwan, are celebrating an over 100-year-old Taoist tradition to bring peace and good health to their town. Known as the Qingjiao Festival, it's a week-long ceremony held every 3 years. Residents pay a small tithe to help build these altars, where they welcome deities, including Taiwan's sea goddess Mazu, to the town. It's a practice that's been recognized as an intangible cultural asset by the county government.
那这123年的当中，它从来都没有中断过。前埔里镇的镇民几乎是总动员，所以因此才能够得到评审委员的青睐，所以列为无形文化资产。
One of the major customs is adopting a vegetarian diet for the week. This year, some locals got entrepreneurial and opened new vegetarian shops.
我跟我朋友是想说这一段时间有空，对，就想说来尝试做一下这个生意看看，这样，对。这几天生意还好？这算是我们第2天啊，就是也算刚开始，目前的起头算是还不错。
And while visitors may not have expected to be caught in the middle of this local event, some didn't seem to mind.
这个时阵可能较歹做啊，
较歹做吼。
无来入境随俗啊，安尼啦。
Despite the food restrictions, it's one of the most exciting times of year to visit the town. And these dedicated residents will make sure that this tradition continues for years to come. Dolphine Chen and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
One of Taipei's most famous parks has a big squirrel issue. Literally, park goers have been feeding the animals, leading to lots of husky squirrels. Leslie Liao has more.
If the mere sound of a rustling food package attracts a swarm of squirrels to you, then you might be in Taipei's Da'an Forest Park. These furry critters have gotten used to people feeding them, and it's beginning to show. The park's squirrel population has surged, and the animals themselves are getting chunkier.
会拿面包屑，然后就会有一群松鼠围过来。但是吃面包的话，也许糖类会比较多，所以现在松鼠都看起来，这边的松鼠看起来都蛮胖的。
一般公园的话有，会让松鼠异常的繁殖，太多了。
Park authorities have urged people not to feed the local wildlife, but to little effect. Now they've installed cameras and are punishing the behavior with fines.
电影部分我们是11月28号装的，目前我们每天都有截取出来看，目前是都没有人在木平台这边做喂食。喂食野生动物是罚1200到6000块的一个罚款。
Though people feeding animals in the park think they might be doing good, they're actually doing harm.
公园里面有6600棵树，还有各种不同的植物，应该是足够它不要去，觉得自己好像很有爱心。其实你做的一个行为是，你影响到它的活动，而且影响它的觅食能力。
According to estimates, Da'an Forest Park is home to 600 squirrels. The ideal population is 200. Such overpopulation could wreak havoc on the park's delicate ecosystem. So keep an eye on your lunch next time you visit. Howard Zhang and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching. We'll play you out with some footage of a feline trained station master in Taiwan's southeast, bringing some Christmas cheer. I'm Louise Watt. Take care. We'll see you next week.